NASDAQ are cool for buys right now based off of the retracement tool, right? We could even put our stop loss just below this fair value gap because it is a bit bigger. Us traders really want that consistency and want that profitability as fast as we possibly can get it because we understand how much it can bring to us. Welcome back to another YouTube video of FlareFX where we make trading very simple. Now guys, as you can see, I'm not using my mount today because it is broken, but I was like, let me record this video. As you can see, it's even at night today. So this week's title or this week's video breakdown is going to be NASDAQ, gold, and Bitcoin. So we have a lot of gems, guys. Excuse the noise. I am working without a mic today because it needs to get fixed. But nonetheless, guys, make sure to click the subscribe button because I was going to make sure that this video goes out regardless of the situation, guys. But nonetheless, let's get into it. All right, guys. So the breakdown won't be too long, mainly because of the sound, but I'll make sure to give you guys gems. Like I said, guys, please make sure to hit the subscribe button. It is gonna do so much, especially since we wanna get to a K subscribers, right? So we'll start off with what is this NASDAQ on the daily time frame, as you guys can already see. So now with this guy, I've been seeing it. It's been pushing all the way to the top, guys. It even made this high, this all-time high. We can already see that we've already broken structure over here. And what does break of structure indicate? Trend continuation. And this is on the daily time frame, guys. So you can imagine. But now Nasdaq has sunken all the way to the downside, and this is the main reason why this breakdown is such an important one, right? Before anything else, before drawing out the Fibonacci retracement tool, we can already see as well that we also have a purge of liquidity relatively over here, right? So now Nasdaq is pushed all the way to the top, made this all-time high, and now we've worked all the way to the downside, right? So me as a trader, I'll come in and mark this zone over here and this high over here, right? Bingo bango, to highlight the range that we're playing in, right? So now when I pull out my Fibonacci retracement tool, right, like this, putting it over here and turning it into the indice one, it already highlights the zone. So it's already telling us that NASDAQ are cool for buys right now based off of the retracement tool, right? We could even put our stop loss just below this fair value gap because it is a bit bigger and go for TP2, right? So we'll be patient enough to see how NASDAQ moves. This one is going to be very similar because we'll check out gold. But one thing I've noticed, guys, about how these things move is that like NASDAQ, if NASDAQ is pushing to like tech companies, let me just say tech companies because it's the top 100 tech companies, right? NAS 100. When it starts climbing all the way to the top, you find that gold sinks all the way to the downside, right? I've never seen NASDAQ climbing and gold climbing at the same time, you know. So I'm at a position now where I see NASDAQ sinking all the way to the downside. It is going to be like this. We're going to trade it based off of our strategy, right? Understanding that we could even take an L, right? The possibility of it just pushing and breaking this low is highly possible to come what? Fill this fair value gap out, guys. So that's a possibility that I do am considering as well, right? Remember, in trading, we go off possibilities and probabilities. So now this is the most probable thing that we're looking at, right? The probable is that it could respect our strategy and push all the way to the top. TP1, TP2 will be happy traders. Now, what is also possible is that it could sink all the way to the downside, right? Hence why you have to have these two perspectives in mind, guys. This is going to change you so you don't over risk, over trade, and understanding that you're trading off of a probability, like a probabilistic mindset, guys. So just make sure you understand that. But this is what I see for NASDAQ, guys. Please make sure to comment down what pairs you want me to break down next week. The mic will be fixed, guys, sooner than later. I don't know how long. It is just a long sequence, but I'm gonna try doing my best. The guys that really find value off of this will watch the videos, guys, and I'm doing it for you because I know you watch my videos every week, my brother. So let's keep on pushing. All right. So this is gold on the daily time frame, right? And I've been looking at this guy for the longest of times, right? We've made our all-time high and sunken all the way to the downside. So now this is quite different from NASDAQ because NASDAQ pushed all the way to the top and made its all-time high again. But gold has been having a whole lot of bearish movement all the way to the downside. We've even got a change of character over here, guys. That's how crazy this thing has been moving to the downside. Bingo bango, a nice change of character. We even have a fair value gap that it could fill out. But one thing I am noticing is that we do have a fair value gap that's relatively sitting over here, and we're getting some sort of rejection out of it, right? Hence why I always mark out this zone over here, right? Just to show you that this is possibly what we can anticipate. I need to remove these ads, but this is what we can see as a support zone for what you call it for gold. But with gold, I understand that gold, with the way it moves, guys, it's very, very impulsive, especially when it fills out the fair value gaps, right? So What I'm patiently waiting for is for gold to push maybe all the way to the downside a bit, maybe take some liquidity and push. We have a nice order block that's resting over here to get that clean cut confirmation. But now let's say we move over to the lower time frames. Maybe we might see something that we like on the lower time frames. So on the lower time frames, as you really can see, there's still a nice fair value gap over here, right? Obviously, the indicator doesn't highlight it, but as traders, we already know what we're looking for, right? And price just tapped into it. We want price to fill it out to the core, right? But we'll see how gold does move, guys. Let's go to the 1 hour time frame. Maybe we already have like lower time frame changes of character, which we already do over here. As we can see, we have a nice change of character that relatively happened over here. But for me, as Mr. Flair, what I would be looking for is at least patiently waiting for price to what? To come in a bit deeper and then pushing all the way to the top, filling out this fair value gap, then we can even get another entry. So if you don't want to be caught out of FOMO, guys, especially for gold, it's just playing it a very patient game. Like I think from now until the 20th of January, when Trump actually becomes enters in the White House and stays there, we can see a lot of movement for the market, guys, and it's gonna make sense for us to be really trading these guys, right? But for now, I think there are long-term setups that we could be looking for, especially for gold. Hence why this week we also have a bit of Bitcoin as well. So now we'll just go over to the 4 hour time frame, or we are on the 4 hour time frame. We'll just tap into the daily for gold just one more time so we can see the overall market direction. So for gold, what is the possible and what is the probable? The possible is that we can probably possibly get into the zone over here and push higher and higher to fill out these fair value gaps, even potentially making an all-time high, right? And then what is probable, right, is that gold just keeps on plummeting the same way it's already moving now, right? So we never know, but we are at a very significant zone. But we'll just be patient and really trade it the best way possible. All right. So this is Bitcoin on the daily time frame, guys. And I think for this one, it's been a fan favorite. I just haven't been breaking it down for the longest of times. I just a lot of guys have been asking me to do it. I think what the all-time high for Bitcoin is what? I just want to check it out. Or relatively 93,500, right? So that's relatively how high Bitcoin has climbed, right? So what am I seeing, Mr. Flair? What are you seeing for gold? Like, I mean, for Bitcoin for the rest of the year and before the inauguration, things like that, right? So in and of its own, let's pay attention to Bitcoin as if we didn't know it was a very big asset class. We didn't know there were elections, and we're just trading it based off technicals alone, right? And then we'll also tap into the fundamentals as soon as we're done with the technicals, right? What I can see already is that we already what broke structure over here. This is indicating trend continuation. We already understand that the market wants to keep on making all-time highs. The market wants to keep on moving the same direction, right? So now this is on the daily time frame, as you guys can see. Now when we switch on our fair value gap and swing points, we can see that these are the swing point. This is the swing point we're playing in right now. Let's say this is relatively the all-time high that Bitcoin has made. We'll probably go over. We'll even touch 100K, probably even 120, guys, even 150. I assume, right? Allegedly I understand that the way these crypto markets move, guys, especially since Trump is going to be coming in and a lot of research, hence why I want to bring it into the breakdown, guys, because it is a very good asset class to be looking at, especially as a trader who wants to really make market and the most money in the next 4 years, right? So now I can already see that prices push all the way to the downside and push all the way to the top, making this all-time high. Let's assume this one is the all-time high. Better yet, Bitcoin could just keep on soaring higher and higher. So now, there's two ways we could go about this thing, right? So for me, I understand that I highly doubt Bitcoin could retrace 73% all the way to the downside, right? Like all the way to the downside over here. But what I can understand and what is realistic is that maybe 50% of the whole, what is this? 50% of the whole uh trend run, right? Or the whole run, right? So now where are we assuming to enter as traders, right? We have these points over here, these two swing points, as you guys can see, but 50% is relatively a safe zone. The main reason I'm saying this is because it's just looking at it from a technical perspective, right? And it's probably the best place to put yourself in. Relatively over here, I would say 80,000 is probably the point I would enter if I wanted to carry on swinging this thing, right? Stop loss just relatively below this point. So stop loss just relatively below 75,000, right? And then TP relatively holding it all the way maybe to 100K. So relatively over here, right? Maybe you guys might not see it. I'll just pull out price for this side so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But this is relatively what we are gonna be looking at, especially for Bitcoin, even 120, like relatively all the way to the top over here. You could look into holding it, right? But this is just a safe option, guys. Like especially to be trading Bitcoin. Taking it off of the 50% is very good. We'll even go over to the 4 hour time frame to see if we have any swing points. Checking the 4 hour time frame, we can see that okay, cool, we do have another fair value gap over here and another fair value gap over here. So maybe the 80,000 is a bit far-fetched. We could even be looking at executing relatively along 83,000, even that's possible. But that's something that we need to be patient of, guys. That's something we need to be patient of as much as it is, guys, looking at the markets in and of its own. But guys, in terms of the word of the week, hopefully you guys can hear me, but without the mic it's a bit hectic. But the word of the week is, I think last week we spoke about setbacks, and the whole mic situation is a setback for me. But for the guys who are watching, this is a journey that you're taking with me, even as the YouTube guys, right? So this is another situation of understanding long-term thinking, long-term mindset, guys. I think that's the main reason for today's topic, right? Or word of the day, right? It's long-term mindset, guys. Delayed gratification is something that a lot of traders don't want to look at. And I think this is a topic I've already spoken on one of the other videos as well. But the main reason I'm bringing it up, especially for this one, is mainly because I understand that us traders really want that consistency and want that profitability as fast as we possibly can get it, because we understand how much it can bring to our lives, guys. And I think taking that step forward to understand that this process does take time, but if you dedicate yourself and don't give yourself a time limit and understand that the more works and the more reps you put in, you're bound to get to a certain level in your life, right? It's just gonna compound. It's just gonna keep on stacking. You get what I mean? And I think that's one thing you need to keep in your mindset, especially when times are tough, especially when you don't want to do anything, especially when you understand that emotions can get it, and even setbacks, guys. You have to get to a point where you realize that regardless of the situation, keep on. You just have to keep on pushing, because it's a test from you, the universe, God, whatever you believe in, is testing you to see if you really want this thing or you don't, right? And for me, I'm at a position where I am being tested, and I'm really trying to do my best for you guys to understand that you can't let everything around you or the external circumstances really hinder what you want to do, right? And for the souls that it touched, I really hope it did help you a lot. For the guys who haven't, it is what it is. I'll catch you on the next video. But nonetheless, guys, if you watch till the end, it is Mr. Flair. Let's have a great month, a great week of trading. But nonetheless, signing out.